I was able to stack up over 23,000 points for damaging snitches as a solo raider this week. I did this on Bluegate during a night raid to ensure that I received the 2x trials points for every snitch that I took out. I recommend at least a renegade for this with an extended magazine, lots of bullets, and a secondary that you like for PvP encounters. For me, it's the Berletta, but it's not the best for the arc, so make sure you make a choice that's right for you. For your Renegade, make sure it's at least a level 2 and is fully repaired. This helps to ensure that your Renegade will stay usable throughout the entirety of the match, because the burn rate on its durability is actually quite high, and it may be close to broken by the end of the raid. Once you spawn in, you're looking for Ridgeline, and you want to make sure that you have a full 30 minutes for this game. On your way over to Ridgeline, make sure you take out any snitches that are on the way to get a jump start on stacking up your score. There are two good areas for farming snitches in that Ridgeline area. The first is directly where Ridgeline is listed on the map, and the second is just a little bit south of it. From either of these two locations, you just want to look out across all sides of the map and shoot at snitches as they spawn in to aggro them to you. Once you shoot at the snitch, it will turn from a white light to an orange light, indicating that it's looking for you, but isn't quite sure where you're actually at yet. Shooting 1 to 2 more times near it should change that orange light to a red light, and that means it's on the way to you and you've successfully aggroed it. You can also just change it from a white light to a red light if you manage to land a shot on it, but at further distances that can be challenging to do. From this Ridgeline location, there is only one snitch that I wasn't able to aggro, and I think it's just because my shots were too far away for it to register that I was shooting at it. Beyond that, make sure you also don't shoot at spotters, which can look like a snitch if you're not paying close attention. You will want to try and shoot the least amount of times to get the snitch to pull to you, as you want to save your Renegade's durability as much as possible, but also it helps to conceal your area on the map from other raiders. In most cases, the snitch will take a direct path to you once you've aggroed it, but on rare occasions, it can be stopped midway by another raider, and it will call in its reinforcements at that point. Shooting at range can be okay, as long as you are consistently landing shots on the snitch, but remember that the Renegade's durability burns extremely quick, so you want to save your shots as much as possible to ensure you're getting value from them. From here, it's just a rinse and repeat process as far as the snitches are concerned, but obviously snitches aren't your only concern, as there's going to be raiders on the map, and you never quite know whether or not they're going to be friendly with you. This is why I actually recommend standing on top of either of the two rocks in the two locations I talked about. As one, it gives you great view of the entire map, and you can grab snitches from anywhere, essentially from these points. And two, if a raider does take some shots at you, you can just dodge roll in the opposite direction. You'll fall off the top of the rock and have significant cover that you can use to heal up, reposition, maybe try your hand at negotiating peace, or just have safety from taking on that fight that you have no other choice but to take on. Snitches have two spawn locations very close to the Ridgeline location, and they will be spawned on the eastern side of the map itself. If you are standing on top of the rock, these spawns will actually be very close to you, so keep an eye out for that. You may also just hear them spawn in before you see them. That's how close they are to you. In my games, I noticed that snitches seem to spawn a little bit more often once you reach the midway point of the match. I saw 2 snitches were spawned in more frequently than just the singles, but I can't say with certainty whether or not that's a gameplay mechanic or just the luck that I had during my own run. You will definitely have more wasps and hornets that are spawned in during the later parts of the round though, so keep in mind that you're going to need to avoid wasting ammo and durability on them, and a good way to do that is using the photoelectric cloak. You can craft this at your utility station once it's reached level 3, and it allows you to conceal yourself from arc for a short period of time, which in this case you can just pull out whenever there's a wasp and a hornet, use it, and they will fly away and leave you alone. Every game will have a different set of raider problems that you'll need to deal with and be flexible about in order to be successful in completing this trials challenge. For me, I had one player that attempted to take me out, as well as an additional player that spent about 10 to 15 minutes trying to grief me. They took one shot at me on 2 separate locations, but never actually pushed in, and even threw a snitch scanner at me during one part of the game. For me, all I did was stick to the strategy. I stayed on top of the rock. I moved a little bit more to make sure that if they did try and full send me, they wouldn't get easy shots. And I just made sure to remember where I was on top of that rock so I could dodge roll wherever I needed to get myself to safety. Once you reach the 5-minute mark or so, you should know where the extraction is and how long it will take you to run to it. I didn't personally notice any significant change in the volume of spawns for snitches under 5 minutes, But it's totally possible that you might see an uptick in spawns, and that might be the most valuable part of the match for you. So learning to balance the risk versus reward of staying longer in this position to get more snitches versus the risk of not making it to the extraction in time and losing all of your progress on the trials challenge that you're doing. Remember that your trials points do not count unless you extract safely back to Speranza, so you need to figure out what type of risk you're willing to play with. For me personally, I ended up leaving a little bit earlier than I would otherwise because that griefing raider took another shot at me around the 2-minute mark, and it was at that point that I realized I was probably going to have to deal with this raider on the way out, so I wanted to give myself buffer time to run to the extraction and deal with whatever the raider was going to throw at me then. From there, it's just extracting safely, getting back to Speranza, collecting your loot if you haven't already, and stacking up your score on the Trials leaderboard to get yourself into a 2x promo for this week's Trials challenges. That's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.